I am Manuel Pulgar Vidal, Climate and Energy Global Practice Lead with WWF International and Chairman of the IUCN Climate Crisis Commission. Used to be Minister of the Environment of Peru in between 2011 and 2016, and as for that, President of the Climate COP20 in Lima in 2014. It is so important to halt and reverse nature loss by 2030 for three reasons. The first one, it is that nature loss it is in the top risks of the world, economically and socially. In the last 5 years, nature loss it has appeared in the top 3 main risks for economic development, but it is exactly the same for social development. The second reason it is because we have already learned, I hope, what it can happen if we are not able to reverse nature loss. We can repeat what we have just suffered with the COVID pandemic. The COVID pandemic that we have to remind that it was created because a zoonotic disease, it was originally because of nature loss and climate change. And the third reason it is because we have just adopted the Global Biodiversity Framework, in which in the Goal 1, we have decided by consensus that we will halt and reverse nature loss. And let me finish by saying that also because we do need to protect our people. Nature it is related to our people. Nature it is related to indigenous people. Nature it is related to traditional knowledge. It is finally related to life. Sometimes we think that it is enough to have multilateral and international decisions. But friends, that is not enough. We have to implement. And to implement, we have to build ownership. And to build ownership, we have to develop policies, we have to develop regulation, we have to communicate and to create local and domestic awareness. Sometimes we think that it has been enough by having a good decision because of the Paris Agreement or because of the Global Biodiversity Framework. For sure, it has been fantastic to get those 2 agreements. But now, when we are thinking to implement, we do need to make that a domestic public policy, a domestic regulation, a mandatory one, and we have to develop all the mechanisms to make or to enforce it. It will be just by doing that we will be effective in the domestic level and that we can show that even we have fulfilled with the international goals. When we were discussing what it is now called the Global Biodiversity Framework, we framed our discussion around the concept whole of society. And when we think about whole of society, it is about people, so citizens, indigenous people, academia, business sector, among many other actors. So whole of society, it is not only for nature, it is also for climate. Not only to get consensus to define a collective objective, but also to implement it. Let me share with you an example. When I was president of COP20 in Lima, we decided to launch what at that call used to be called the Lima Paris Action Agenda, that then evolved into what it is now called the Marrakesh Partnership. It was an initiative to bring whole of society into the table to implement the Paris Agreement. And we have shown that that was a great decision. So to implement the Global Biodiversity Framework, to halt and reverse nature loss, we can do it just if we are able to convene all the actors into the same table. Because it is not just the responsibility of a party or a government, it is the responsibility of us all to achieve our objective and to implement and to develop actions that can make us able to celebrate the successful in that.